Good morning and welcome to the Media Speaks Live Saturday morning news show. I'm David Lake. I'm joined this morning. Thank you. I'm joined this morning by Kyle Phillips. Kyle, how's it going?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me, D-Lake.
And also Helena is there with you on Doggy Cam. Can we get a view of that? There she is.
How you doing today, Helena?
Hi, Helena. If you have any questions, feel free to bark or speak up. We're also joined by Sam Ganji of the Correct Views and the Band Passing Time. Samuel.
Greetings, unsettled souls, and welcome to the Saturday edition.
Was that an intentional sound effect?
There was a sound effect.
That was beautiful.
It looks like Sam might be joined by Jesus back there on his blanket or something.
Oh, it's actually a Star Wars character that I just put over the trash can because the table that I normally use is not here, so I'm having to put my camera at a different height.
Okay. Well, I guess Obi-Wan Kenobi looks a little bit like Jesus Christ there. Today we're going to be talking about Sony. The giant, massive corporation Sony hacked. They were hacked. That's right. Let me just get to the top headlines. Report, Sony unable to process payments. Delays premiere of Hacker movie. I think that's the Snowden movie. I'm not sure. I think they were threatened not to premiere the movie The Interview with our favorite comedians there. A disturbing new warning flashed on staffers' computers. We're going to get to that. New York Times Maureen Dodd promised to show column before publication. Jennifer Lawrence, the brilliant actress, was paid less than her male co-stars. Is it because she's black? Selma director calls execs' emails sickening. Pascal fights for job. Yeah, you're going to lose your job, Pascal. Sorry. Stressed. Angelina Jolie develops chicken pox. She's never had chicken pox? According to...
I've never had chicken pox.
Well, there you go.
Die, then.
You don't go to Africa and adopt kids all the time either, so I don't know how she's never had them. The Times reports Sony suspends filming after hackers hit their payments. The Hollywood studio that made James Bond, 007, and Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man films, has abandoned shoots after hackers crippled its computer network and leaked 4 films and thousands of documents. Agencies filming for Sony Pictures have canceled shoots because the problems have left it unable to process payments, a source told The Times. The attack by Guardians of Peace. Now, Kyle, I don't know if you're aware of the Guardians of Peace. So their acronym is the GOP.
I found that hilarious. Yeah.
Is that intentional? A hacking collective suspected of having links with North Korea has taken most of Sony Pictures' computers offline, and I can't really read the rest of the articles on the Times because I refuse to give them any money.
Well, what's funny is that we didn't see this coming because when you think about it, there aren't many ways that North Korea can actually fight the outside world in any tangible way unless they blow off their one nuke, in which case they know they will be utterly destroyed by everybody else in the world, or a cheap computer. I mean, when you really think about it, the fact that we didn't see that coming is just mind-blowing.
Have you guys seen the Vice documentary on North Korea?
Many of them. I'm obsessed with North Korea documentaries.
Yes, and Vice, I think, has done the best job. Their first one,
Yes.
The second one was okay. The one about Russia and North Korea was all right too. But North Korea, I really don't feel like they have the technology or the know-how to really be hacking anybody. I mean, they just developed their own first North Korean smartphone, and immediately after its release, like, experts look at it and they go, "Oh, that's a Chinese knockoff. That's not, like, you bought those from China. You didn't make those." Like, they can't even make a smartphone, and I can't make a smartphone either, but I also couldn't hack Sony Pictures. So I find it hard to believe that North Korea did it. Now, did one of North Korea's allies do it, like China? Possibly. Possibly China.
The reason I think they did it, Kyle, is because they have been known to spend quite a bit of money on a very, I mean, it's not 1%, it's like 0.0001%, but they have been known to send their best and brightest to other colleges. The one Vice documentary talks about the gentleman studying, one in Sweden and one in America. So it was probably one of those hand-picked golden boys that they
That
had
is
doing.
possible. I wonder too, like, all right, when North Korea sends like you are correct, they do. They send their best and brightest out to like
Out of the country,
operating,
anywhere
yeah,
but
out
North
of the
Korea.
country to get a real education.
Go get
But
a
like,
real education in Vietnam, you know.
if you're a North Korean genius, you're a very smart person, and you get sent out of the country and you get to go to like some American university, like, how do you ever go back? You know what I mean? Like, wouldn't you be like, oh, asylum, please, asylum? Like this, like after a week of being here, and people are like, want some beer? Like, you just have, there's food. You could just eat food. Yeah, you can eat whatever you want. Like, holy shit, I need to get to an embassy and seek asylum in the United States immediately.
Exactly.
Well, guys, one of the things that I find pretty funny about this story, besides the fact that the Guardians of Peace, they're known as the GOP, so it's funny when you're reading through this, but it says the Sony hackers flash disturbing new warning on staffers' computers, and that reminds me of, I don't know, something out of Batman with, like, you know how the Joker would like take over the TVs everywhere and come on and send a message or whatever. And
Yeah.
so I thought that was pretty funny. A group claiming to be the GOP displayed the scary image on Thursday, and Insider tells The Wrap. A group purporting to be the Guardians of Peace, or GOP, sent a new warning to Sony Pictures Thursday, causing an ominous message to flash across employee computer screens. An individual familiar with the situation tells the paper here, The Wrap. Here's the image. Let me go to screen share and show you guys this disturbing image. And Kyle, if this showed up on your computer screen when you were at work at Sony, how would you feel?
Hacked by GOP. Can you
Look at it.
warning? We've already okay. Well, warning twice. All right, somebody isn't the best writer. Maybe they are North Korean, second language. We've already warned you, and this is just the beginning. We continue till our requests be met.
Yeah.
We've obtained all of your intranet data, including your secrets and top secrets. Yeah, this is all right. Now, after reading this, here, let me finish.
Would they let somebody send something? See, now I'm wondering, this is the best they could come up with in terms of writing?
Wait a second. It says that...
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you don't obey us, we'll release your data shown below to the world. Determine what you will do by November 24th at 11 p.m. and then data links. Yeah, this sounds...
Kyle, you just skipped over it. November the 24th? It's December 13th.
Oh, yeah, wow. So, this, like, looks like it's... Like, it looks like it's written by somebody who English is like their third language. Like, I don't know if you've ever bought like a knockoff electronic from like Hong Kong on eBay and you get the instruction manual and it's in English, but it doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. Like, that's what this looks like to me. But the November part, that's just bad planning.
Well, I know that the Fukushima updates often do that because they will be in Japanese, of course, originally. And sometimes, as Hank Hanegraaff says, when you go from one language to a receptor language, as he calls it, you can lose some in translation. But you would think that somebody who's really good at the bilinguistics of the entire thing would at least proofread it prior to hacking Sony.
Wait, doesn't China use like a different calendar? Don't they go like they change times and stuff differently? Don't they use a different system?
Oh, look at that. I hadn't thought of that.
Is it November in China?
Yeah, that could be a good point. Sam, you're into like kind of like freaky music and creepy stuff, and I wish Court was here. He's into heavy metal and stuff like that. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that background image, Sam? Yeah, you're into this sort of thing. How do you feel about this background? Is that ominous and scary? And if you work at Sony, would you be freaked out by that background image?
I need you to look up the skeleton that's used for the Factory of Terror in Canton, Ohio, because I'm sure it's not. I mean, there's a million fake skeletons in the world. But it looks like the skeletons that are used in a local haunted house around here called the Factory of Terror. And when I first saw it, I'm like, did they just, because you said this came out in November, did they just take some haunted house BS during our Halloween season in this country? Oh, no,
Wait,
I can't.
D-Lake, what did you search to get that image?
Exactly what Sam said. Factory of Terror, Canton, Ohio.
And unfortunately, my little skeleton guy's not showing
No,
it.
no,
But
no. To get the hashtag GOP threat message.
Oh, this message hacked by GOP.
Yeah.
It was a link in an article on the Wrap. So,
I'm gonna find that image and I'm gonna put it into here. Since you have it up already, can you save that image and then put it into Google image search and see if
a
it
Google reverse image search.
and see if it matches anything else. Cause yeah, I have to agree with Sam. That looks like a freeze frame from like a Six Flags Halloween weekend commercial.
Yeah.
I'm also checking a place called the Ghostly Manor on my computer to see if that's where they might have yanked it from.
And you see this creepy little skull spider that's like kind of glowing in the background. Yeah, it looks like it was. Yeah, it just looks like some kind of theatrical performance with a fake rib cage like in front of it. The actors like real.
It looks like something that would be in a passing time music video. And I mean that in a good way. But doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah.
Can't you imagine like that skeleton like rapping? Like the way his hands are up in the air and stuff?
Right.
That's what it's Halloween, motherfucker, Halloween. It's like,
All right,
yes.
and Kyle, does that look like something that came out of China or North Korea, or is the writing and the language and the image all meant to throw us off? Kyle, what do you think?
maybe. Yeah, maybe it's just like let's throw something really confusing at him. Like let's give him a deadline to take some action that it isn't exactly clear what action must be taken, and somebody else in the room's like, I'll do you one better. Let's make our deadline already passed when we send it to him.
Well, here's another one. If that is what they consider to be frightening, what are they going to do the first time that they see Saw?
Yeah, that's what we should do. And
They're going to have a heart attack.
If we can find out who this is from, then just like send them DVDs of the movie Saw and be like, look who you're fucking with, dummy.
Okay,
Is there any?
You sent us a plastic skeleton. We sent you Saw.
Kyle, see how fast I am. I did a reverse image search. They're not really looking for the background image itself. They're actually bringing up that same picture as it was released. Visually similar images, faked by #Sony ? This is a similar image right here, apparently.
I don't think it was faked. I definitely don't think Sony's faking this, because like some of the stuff in the leaked emails, like if they were to fake it, they would not have said those
What
things.
exactly did she say that was so bad? 'Cause I know she apologized, but I never got to read what she said.
I personally thought it was all hilarious. She said, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, but there's the big thing that everybody made a big deal out of was there was Sony Pictures was doing some sort of charity event that Barack Obama was going to be at, and there was like a back and forth where it was like, oh, should I ask him if he wants to fund a movie? And it was like, ha ha ha, what movie? Django? And then the person's like, or what about 12 Years a Slave? And like there was a back and forth of making black people movie jokes, and
Yeah,
I could see how that could be offensive.
Sure.
I thought it was
And
funny.
Jennifer Lawrence gets paid less than her male co-stars. There was some other news that's more fascinating to movie buffs like me and Spider-Man fans that, you know, there were talks that Marvel Comics was trying to like get the rights to Spider-Man back because that would be great for their upcoming Civil War story. I think Marvel can do it without Spider-Man. I mean, let Sony try to make another Spider-Man, and if it's not good, you know, we'll get the rights back that way, which I think is a little bit more a legitimate way than just like hacking them. I mean, do you
And can I just say, part of the leak was that what's his name, James Garfield or whatever, might not be in the next Spider-Man movie.
Andrew
and
Garfield.
yeah, Andrew Garfield. And let me just ask you this, D. Like the last Spider-Man movie got blown over really quickly. You didn't really hear much about it. There wasn't much advertising. A lot of people don't even know that it came
There was
out.
too much advertising.
Is that what it was? Because like nobody saw it. Like nobody saw that movie. And I watched it. I thought it was good.
Is it considered a flop? Let's wiki it. Is it considered a flop?
No, it wasn't considered. It wasn't considered a financial flop. The numbers actually were okay. I mean, probably not what was projected because I think it was over advertised. But however, it wasn't. The fans and the critics didn't. It wasn't taken well by them. I'm sure it has low ratings on like Rotten Tomatoes.
But I honestly thought it followed the comic books a lot better than the first, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. I mean, it wasn't as actiony of a movie, but it was much more real to the comics. It was much more real to the character. I thought it was good.
Oh, that was one of the things in the email leaks is that Sony was talking about bringing back the first director.
I don't even know who did it.
Not Tim Burton, the guy that did the Army of Darkness movies.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I forget his name, but yeah.
Yeah, not drawing it off the top of my head. But anyways, I mean that might be cool. And apparently they're gonna have Sony's gonna have a Spider-Man summit to discuss like what the hell they should do. They're kind of in crisis mode on Spider-Man after the last one, so.
Which I mean,
they're not sure.
They rebooted it too early, that's for sure, because like they didn't let enough time pass where like the last Spider-Man 3 only came out like not even 5 years before they rebooted it. And it's like that's weird to people. People are like, "Wait, what? We just saw Spider-Man." They should have waited longer, or they shouldn't have rebooted it at all. They should have waited for I mean, doesn't Spider-Man eventually join the Avengers? Couldn't that have been a good time to throw him back in? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah, when you're talking about the Avengers, though, Kyle, that's where you get into that area where the studios are divided by the property rights because Sony has Spider-Man, Marvel has all the Avengers characters, so that's where that push and pull comes from. I mean, Marvel Comics back in the day, yeah, they were struggling before they got on this roll that they've been on the past 10 years.
Yeah, comics were on the down, very much so.
And Sony scooped it up and actually made good movies with those first those Tobey Maguire movies. But I mean, guys, those are like, how old are those now? Those are getting to be pretty old.
The first one was what? I'm gonna guess. The first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire was like 2003, right? So that's my guess.
I want to see the one you guys are talking about because I wasn't all that impressed with Tobey's. So I want to see the one you guys are talking about.
I think that they were the first in the new generation of superhero movies. I thought they were really good at the time, but compared to where we've gone since then, I don't think it necessarily holds up. 2002 was the first one.
Yeah, and Spider-Man, just a great, excellent character. I mean, in my personal opinion, they would have to redo him another different way for him to fit in well into the newly, like I said, the past 10 years established, totally awesome Marvel universe. But a lot of fans want to see Peter Parker, Spider-Man, interact with like Tony Stark and Captain America, and do stuff that we've seen.
If you wanted to do that, if you wanted to have him interact and be a part of the Avengers, I personally think you would have been better off just continuing the Tobey Maguire timeline because it doesn't really make sense that they would bring a teenager in for the Avengers because, like, Spider-Man technically is supposed to be, like 17, 18 years old, but if you just kind of fudged it a little bit and said, all right, it's the Spider-Man from those movies that started in 2002, Tobey Maguire is now, probably, like, early 30s, his character would make more sense working with the military, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you did it with that kid, Andrew Garfield or whatever, I don't think it would make sense. He's too young of a character, and it would be like I'm sorry, I can stretch my imagination so much for superheroes, but one thing I cannot stretch it to is the military contracting a high schooler.
Yes.
Can't do it.
Never thought of that before, but you're quite right there.
But I get what they want to do. They want to reboot it so that you're interested in Spider-Man again before they bring him in to make another Avengers movie that would be an explosive blockbuster.
Right. Yeah, and Sam Raimi is the director whose name I was trying to remember. The first one, 2002, 7.3. I mean, obviously we're talking about it because it's one of Sony's big budget, one of their big blockbusters that they put out. They're putting out a new James Bond movie. I don't know if filming of production's already wrapped. I'd have to go read the leaked emails, I suppose. But supposedly the new Bond is supposed to be good. So now I don't know.
I hated that last guy that plays Bond was terrible.
Daniel Craig.
I think is
he the one that's real violent and real like? It was. I like it at all.
So, Sam, you're probably in my boat. I'm a Pierce Brosnan Bond guy, and people are like, oh, Pierce Brosnan's like a pussy. He could never actually punch somebody in the face. I don't want Bond to punch somebody in the face. I want Bond to do something amazing by simply like hitting a few buttons and speed walking, and then he adjusts his tie and walks away as something explodes behind him.
I like
No way.
Pierce.
I like my James Bond to know parkour.
My favorite one was Roger Moore's second favorite was probably Pierce Brosnan.
Roger Moore was dope. I give like Roger Moore is probably my second. First, him and Pierce Brosnan are tied because I was like my generation was brought up on Pierce Brosnan and Bond. I saw those movies in theaters, but Roger Moore is like tied for number one for me.
I think Daniel Craig plays it well, and I like it. And I like that the past couple movies they've been bringing in more of the sophistication with his like supercar, and he does cool stunts. And
I quit watching it after they picked him. I haven't seen any of the new, and I love
They're
Bond,
they're
but I quit
okay.
watching it when they picked him.
I didn't like Casino Royale that much, but the last one, what was it, like Nightfall or something? That one was pretty good. Skyfall.
Funny story about Casino Royale is one of my favorite actors of all time actually ruined that movie, Peter Sellers. He had an issue where he would not even be in the same room with certain actors that he was supposed to be filming with. He left the set before it was done. It's just everything that Sellers had in his life all kind of culminated in that movie. And the original movie that he was in would have been good if it wasn't for him. I mean, on screen he's good, but the movie's all chopped up and doesn't flow well at all because
have you seen
Sellers, unfortunately.
Have you seen the original Casino Royale, which was actually the first Bond movie? The original, the first one, which was a made-for-TV movie, and his name wasn't James Bond. It was an American character. An American film company bought the rights to James Bond to make this like made-for-TV movie, and his name was like Billy Bond or something like that. They changed it to be more American.
Bond, Billy Bond.
It was something. I don't think it was Billy, but it was something like that, or like
Billy Bob. Billy Bob. I'm Billy Bob Bond.
Billy Bob Bond.
Billy Bob Bond.
It was
okay,
really,
guys.
really
the top headlines of Sony being hacked. I think we did a good job covering it. It took us into a lot of different entertainment directions because Sony is a primarily entertainment company. None of the reports talk about what it means for my Sony TV back here or the Sony electrical parts, except for that they can't make their payments now. So they got to keep coming back with movies.
Did you hear the one email that was leaked where after Community, the show Community, which is a hilarious show, after that got canceled, Joel McHale, the main character who's also on The Soup, sent an email to an executive saying, well, since you canceled my show, can I at least get a discount on a TV?
Oh, yeah. That guy was in Spider-Man 2. He was like the banker. I like that guy.
A guy found out that his show was getting canceled because of a hack. That would stop.
Well, hey, that's all fun and games, but you know what's not fun and games? CIA torture. Kyle, the CIA torture report was released. How do you feel about it?
Well, what amazes me is that before we get into the details of this torture report, which I haven't read everything, there's a lot. It's like hundreds of pages, right? So I don't think anybody's really read the whole thing, but what amazes me is like when you listen to conservative news stations like WLS, which plays here in the Chicago area, which I do listen to, they're still saying, I listen to it in the morning after the CIA torture report comes out, and they go, and we're going to, after this commercial break, we'll be talking about the alleged torture done by the CIA. It's like, bitch, it's not alleged anymore. Like, how fucking long can you hold on to this BS of enhanced interrogation? Like, at what point do you need to, like, roll a wagon wheel over somebody and break every bone in their body while pissing in their mouth before you will say that it is torture? Just, it is torture. Admit it. Like, there's people out there still holding on to this.
No, wait, Kyle, it's not torture. It's enhanced interrogation or rendition. But not.
You know who came up with that term in enhanced interrogation?
Dick Cheney.
Nazis.
Oh yeah.
The question is though, and I had even mentioned this on Melissa Melton's thread. While I am completely against what they did, let's say you really do have somebody that won't talk, and you know damn well he's done things in the past. How do you get the information out? That's the because obviously torture is going to give you false positives. But I mean, when you really think about it, there aren't really many options you have.
Psychotherapy. I like that option. That's a possibility, right? Give him some drugs, put him into a trance. Ask. I mean, isn't that? Can't we do that? I don't know. I'm not a.
I don't know if that's real. I don't know if that's real. It might be.
Manchurian Candidate, that motherfucker. I mean, I'm sure there's way you can dose somebody up, give them a ton of drugs without hurting them, and get them to tell you stuff. I can't imagine. I mean, give them shrooms, then they'll feel guilty and just start crying and telling you. Have a bad trip, spill their guts to you. You give them a hug, let them go. Maybe they'll go convert some people. Give them a bag of shrooms to take with them. End the war. But D-Leg, it looks like you're looking some stuff up. Can you give us some of like the highlights of the CIA enhanced interrogation report?
Sure. According to Mother Jones, untrained CIA agents were just making up torture methods as they went along. Like Kyle, he's like, what would be good? Dragging someone down the street, peeing in their mouth, stuff like that. 10 most shocking facts we found in CIA torture report according to RT. You guys want to see what those 10 most shocking are?
Absolutely.
Sure. Clicking over.
Before you begin, I want to mention that they're calling torture making the detainees wear female underwear. That's not torture, so I hope that's not on the list.
It might be for some people, Sam. It's not torture for you, Sam, but it could be for some.
Well, no, but I mean, Sheriff Joe does it in Arizona every day.
Oh, yeah.
For me and D, like, that's
Look at
torture.
stuff.
For you, Sam.
Yeah.
Well, you know, if they're edible. No, but I'm serious. Joe Arpaio does it every day. But go ahead, D-Like, I'm all ears.
No, those are incarcerated individuals though that are forced to wear all pink and pink underwear, and they're in prison and they have to do what the sheriff says, which is wear all pink. You know.
If you like pink, get
Yeah.
arrested in Arizona, I
Sam's
guess.
favorite color. 10 most shocking facts we found in CIA torture report. The so-called torture report released by the Senate this week contains only a fraction of the findings on how the CIA aimed to gather intelligence from detainees through interrogation. Still, it contains more than a few shocking revelations. Frozen to death. Okay, these are. I'm just going to go down the 10 most. Go through them quick. Frozen to death. Rectal feeding. Oh, they fed them through their butt. Subjected to rectal rehydration.
Also known as the butt chug.
Mm-hmm. Insects. They used insects to mess with them. Detainees have severe entomophobia or arachnophobia, maybe something like that, right? Sleep deprivation. Okay, that's old school, right? Sleep deprivation.
Sleep deprivation is one of the ones that I would question if that's torture. You tell somebody that's really been tortured, and again, I'm going to say this name only because he has been through it. You tell John McCain that sleep deprivation is torture. You tell anybody in North Korea that sleep deprivation is torture, I'm sorry, I don't buy it.
If John McCain gets an itch on the top of his head, does he have to like rub it against a wall? That's beside the point. But no, I think that sleep deprivation can be torture. Keeping somebody awake for a week, and every time that they fall asleep, you shake them and wake them back up like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been kept awake that long, but I imagine it sucks.
From the report, to avoid an enhanced interrogation technique, CIA officers subjected Khalid bin Atash to 70 hours of standing sleep deprivation. In other words, you have to stand up the whole time. That is 2 hours less than the maximum. So apparently 72 hours of standing sleep deprivation is CIA's maximum limit.
I'll make the argument, as much as I don't necessarily agree with that we do that to our own military, like Marines and shit. That's part of their training.
Yeah, part of their training, Navy SEALs. After allowing him 4 hours of sleep, bin Atash was subjected to an additional 23 hours of standing sleep deprivation. Kyle, that's like when you have to work like a double and you get to go home and sleep for like 2 hours, and then you got to be back.
Do it again, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get to recharge.
Continuing the top 10 most shocking findings from the torture report: threats to family. We could get your mother in here. We could bring your family in here. We could bring your kids in here. We could harm children of a detainee. Threats to sexually abuse the mother. You motherfuckers. Of a detainee, and a threat to cut a mother's throat. Oh my God.
I find that one like more horrible than a lot of people would, the threatening of family members and stuff, because think about it, like, that's really the worst thing that you can possibly do. Like, you watch a movie about somebody who gets, like, tortured, and, like, then they want revenge. It's like, alright, that dude wants revenge for being tortured. But you watch a movie where somebody's family gets taken, and like Taken or like any horror movie that's ever been made. Like, those are the movies that pull on your heartstrings. Like, they took his fucking dog. They threatened his mom. Like, you gotta kill every one of those motherfuckers. Like, that hits an emotional spot. Like, that's fucked up to be holding somebody to be like, if you don't tell us some information that you might not even know, we're gonna kill your fucking kids. Like, fuck, man.
You hurt my kids. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna kill them all. Prolonged standing, Kyle. I mean, you have to stand up at work for 8 hours a day. I mean.
Yeah, they made him work retail.
They made him work retail for 72 straight hours.
And you have to say appreciate your business to every customer.
Okay, CIA officers, including personnel not trained in interrogation, could, at their discretion, they're so discreet, strip a detainee naked, shackle him, in the standing position, for up to 72 hours. Apparently that's the maximum. And douse the detainee repeatedly with cold water, without approval from CIA headquarters. In one instance cited in the report, a CIA official said, we're getting ready to film a movie called Zero Dark 30. As far as we could determine, had been chained to the wall in a standing position for 17 days. That sounds a little bit longer than the maximum.
That's insane.
17 days. No accountability. Another shocking finding.
The water. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So scrolling down, truths about waterboarding. Kyle, what are your feelings about waterboarding? Is that torture?
It's tough because I've waterboarded myself, and the waterboarding itself isn't that bad. I mean, the waterboarding itself isn't that bad, but I've heard the argument, which I have to agree with, that there's a difference between you being waterboarded by yourself or as a part of your training in the military as opposed to being waterboarded by a ton of dudes who have been torturing you since you've been there in a place where you don't know you are and your family's being constantly threatened. Like, it's a big difference. Like, are they going to pull this fucking rag out of my mouth, or are they going to let me die? Like,
well, waterboarding yourself, it sounds drastically different than having someone else waterboard you. The someone else is controlling, the timing.
And somebody who you don't trust. Like, it's not like if D-Lake waterboarded me as opposed to, like, some dude who kidnapped me and took me to Guantanamo Bay and has been threatening my family and making me stand for 17 days. Like, that dude might kill me. So I think it's more psychological than anything, in the same way as, like, threatening the family.
No, exactly. The part of the psychological torture is you don't know how long they're going to go. You don't know how long they're going to, or you don't know how close they're going to bring you to death, and it's the not having control.
And they found from, like, this investigation, like, the people at Guantanamo Bay are like, oh, well, we barely use waterboarding. It's like we've barely done it all. But they find, like, the actual boards that they use, and they're well worn, meaning they've been using those motherfuckers a lot. Like, they have been waterboarding a lot.
Again, the question comes in. Let's say you had somebody that you knew was going to blow up your kid's school. What would you do to get that information from them? And unfortunately, and again, I'm not justifying it, but I'm saying you can see how these things escalate. The trouble is they are really liberal about who they do. Oh, he's got dark skin and he was hanging out with somebody that's a terrorist, so let's just torture him to be on the safe side. But I'm talking, and that's the slippery slope that we're all worried about.
And and here's the thing, Sam.
What do you do?
This report also said that they got no credible information. Zero. Nothing out of this. Nothing at all that they can find. Nothing they can point to and say, look, we stopped this bombing, we stopped this from happening. They got absolutely no information.
Well, see, but the other thing is you've had people complaining that we let certain people go. I remember Obama was attacked for letting the Guantanamo Bay detainees go. But he was, and again, I'm no huge Obama fan here, but I was under the impression that that's what people were trying to get done. But they were saying that he was a known threat. So in order for us to know that this person was a known threat, we must have gotten some information out of him.
I think it's real simple. Chip these motherfuckers. Like, if you're going to release everybody from Guantanamo Bay, put a GPS tracker in them. We have the technology in them. We microchip them like you do a dog. Don't even tell them that you're going to do it. And put up things at the TSA or in airports and at the border where if that person walks through, it beeps and it goes, oh, you're terrorist. Nice and simple. Like,
it wouldn't be the mark of the beast because you don't need it to buy and sell, so I'm in favor of it. Good idea,
and I have no problem. Even if it was the mark of the beast, we're talking about people who, like, let's be real, like, as much as there are some very innocent people in Guantanamo Bay, a lot of them are not so innocent. And let them go, let them live their lives.
because there's been in my opinion, there's been this, and there should be this backlash against the torture. However, we're acting like that we went and tortured little puppies or something. Like these were the most noble people in the Arab lands. These were people that they, in some instances, were suspected of blowing children up. So I mean, that's
arguably
really,
though, some of them were like, what is it? There were like 11 or 12 like Chinese guys who were like people of no land, like they were like exiled from the place in China where they were from, and they were pretty much just like roaming around looking for a place to settle down, and like no country wanted them, and they somehow ended up in Guantanamo Bay. So there were a lot of like totally innocent people in there.
Right.
I get it, and that's why you have to say, well, we can't trust these people to handle it this way, because obviously they have, this isn't 10, 20, 50 known terrorists that they're doing this to. Like you said, these are people that don't even have a home, that were with somebody who, let's say a terrorist was hiding underground and squatting in a house. They'll possibly, I'm using a what if here, but as an analogy, they'll take everybody in the house to Guantanamo.
Well, how about, yeah, exactly.
And don't even know who the Arab guy is.
And here's an idea for wait, real quickly. One other thing for you ask, what else can we do other than this? How about this? The same way that the North Korean who comes to an American university, and I like, how could you ever go back? Turn Guantanamo Bay into a 5-star resort with swimming pools, tennis courts, fucking 5-star meals, food, TV, a mosque for them to go pray, any clothes, anything they want to go. Oh, by the way, this is how all of America is. When you live in America, you can go play tennis. You can go to the pool. You can go to the mosque. You can do whatever you want. It's actually pretty awesome. You can have baby back ribs every single day if you want to. America rocks. And then be like, all right, go back to your desert land. You're free.
Guys, I think
they won't want to go.
Well, I think there's a big difference between like crime and punishment being one thing. Like if you commit the crime, yeah, you need to be punished. But enhanced interrogation to try to get information, and there's Dick Cheney right there. The team here apparently looks to use the waterboard in 2 different contexts. One is as a tool of regression and control, which we talked about, in which it is used up front and aggressively. The second is to vet information on an as-needed basis. But the thing is, you waterboard someone enough times, they'll tell you that they did stuff that they didn't even do. Just to
My dick blew up the World Trade Center.
Right. And it's like, we didn't even, you were in custody when that happened. I don't know how you did that. Mistaken identities and lost detainees. So, mistaken identities, some people, there's somebody being waterboarded. Continuing with the top 10 most shocking things to come out of the torture findings. Misleading the White House. The CIA represented to the White House, the National Security Council, the Department of Justice, the CIA Office of Inspector General, the Congress, and the public that the best measures of effectiveness of the CIA's enhanced interrogation techniques was examples of specific terrorist plots thwarted and specific terrorists captured as a result of the use of the techniques.
Which would be good news.
Yeah, but
if we had fired them, but we didn't.
Bam! This is the CIA investigating themselves, so they're just writing all this stuff off, and absolving the White House of any blame right there.
Do you like some?
It would have, but the White House has already proved that that's not the case by keeping much of the same staff on board.
Sam,
well, then how come these people aren't in jail?
Sam, there's people at I'm your boss, right? And I come to you and I say, Sam, some of the people are suspicious that you might have been stealing supplies from work. You've been stealing pencils and coffee creamer, and you've been stealing water bottles and stuff. Some people think that you're taking these things home to use at home, and that's against policy. So I'm going to need you to do an investigation of yourself and come back and tell me what you find.
Sam, if you could just look into the fact that you've been stealing from the company and let us know if that's true, that'd be great.
Yeah, and what blows my mind about this is, like, from what I've been hearing, they lied to Bush, right? They pretty much, they misled him in saying, yes, we're doing these things, but look, we're having amazing results when they weren't having amazing results. And even then, that apparently Bush was not happy about this.
Yeah, I've heard repeatedly that he's, in terms of the legacy that they speak of, that this is really bothering him in terms of that, because he's looking like he's going to go down in history as the torture president.
And it wasn't even him. He was against it. He was against it, but they come to him and they say, look, we've stopped bombings from happening in the United States because of this, and if you're the president and you're being told that lie, it's hard to say, well, stop. So he was never in favor of this, but the president can't come out and say, I don't like what my administration and what the CIA is doing because that looks like, battling from within. It looks juvenile. So he can't do that. He has to keep up the presidential professional front. But he's really the person who got the most shit over this, and he was against it. And I'm not supporting George Bush, by the way. I'm not saying that I love George Bush, but I found that very interesting.
But do you think that this report the timing of the report coming out now, is it to help absolve the Bush family in case of a Jeb Bush run for the presidency in 2016?
That's possible. And George Bush Sr. was the head of the CIA for quite a long time. It's possible.
If the American people can forget that Prescott Bush supported the Nazis as well as America during the war, then they can forget for Jeb Bush that George Bush was the torture president. They really don't think very long. And again, it is coming out that Bush was not in favor of the torture that went on to the level it did. But I mean, the bigger picture being what you asked, yeah, they could forget that because they don't have any memory.
Well, and I agree. While I do believe that I'm not going to say I believe 100%, but I think it's possible that that's true, that Bush was against doing that. I do have to agree with D-Lake that it's very suspicious that it comes out now, right, when we're gearing up for elections, when people are talking about Jeb Bush, and the American public's like, yeah, right, another Bush, and all of a sudden a ton of sympathetic Bush information is coming at us.
Yeah.
Great timing on that.
Hillary Clinton is the only person that could make Jeb Bush seem like, that's not a bad idea. She has to be the only politician that could make a thinking person say, okay, well, maybe Bush. Is there anybody else that's such a horrible politician that could make you...
Well,
no, I don't think there is.
Yeah, just the fact that they're in bed together, that sounds like part of the plan. Like,
it's got to be a nightmare.
We got Hillary Clinton here. Well, what's her primary purpose? Is it to win or to make Jeb Bush look like the lesser of two evils? You know what I'm saying?
Rand needs something really, really good because he's building a slow momentum, but he's got to speed this up. He needs something really good to happen to him.
If I'm going to say right now, if any good candidate runs with Ted Cruz, I will not. There is no way in hell you will ever get me to vote for a Ted Cruz ticket. It's not happening. Throwing that out there, and I think a lot of libertarians need to get with me on this one and say, especially to Rand Paul, because there's going to be pressure for him to, if he was to get through the primary as the Republican nominee, they're going to throw fucking Ted Cruz in with him, and we can't let that happen because I will not vote for Rand Paul if Ted is his VP. Won't do it.
Rand worries me anyway. The only way I think I could vote for Rand is if it looked like Hillary was going to win. And I've said it a lot on this show. I don't think Rand will be a great president, but I also don't think that Rand is evil. So you're not voting for the lesser of two evils on this one.
It depends, yes.
Just because Rand doesn't hold a candle to Ron doesn't mean that he's evil.
No, I don't think that he's evil. I don't think that he's not my favorite candidate. It would depend on a lot of factors like third-party candidates. But if you had like a Rand Paul, Allen West ticket, like I could see myself voting for that ticket.
Oh yeah, Dr. Ben Carson, something like that. But what you just said, Kyle, I'm really on board to see a third-party candidate just sort of like rise like a phoenix out of nowhere to challenge the two-party system.
And I would like for that to be Judge Napolitano. That's who I would most like to see.
I think we're going to see another.
But I don't think he has any interest whatsoever.
My hope is that we'll see another Ross Perot.
Yeah, Ross Perot type.
I think we'll see like a Ross Perot type figure this next election. This is what I hope for. I don't think that this character, whoever it is, libertarian, constitutionalist, I don't think they're going to win. But I'm hoping that they can get a big enough percentage of the vote that 4 years from now in the next election, when people say don't waste your vote on a third party, you're only supporting the candidate you don't want and all that bullshit, that people won't buy that line anymore. And
yeah,
that,
but I don't want to wait another 4. I don't want to wait till 2020 for that. I want that to
Neither
happen
do I, but
for
this is
2016.
best hope. My best hope is that that'll happen. Whoever gets elected this next election, Jeb Bush or Hillary Clinton, they'll do such a shitty job that by the next election, people will take third parties seriously. And I'd like to see a primary stage where there's, I mean, ideally no Republican and Democrat, but that's not going to happen. But I'd like to see a primary or a debate stage where you have a socialist candidate, a Green Party candidate, a libertarian, constitutionalist. I'd like to see 10 people on that stage.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'll say this: while I don't, and let's say it's election eve, and the Hillary's whatever ticket is about half the nation, and the Rand Cruz ticket is about half the nation, I would probably bite the bullet and vote for Rand just to keep her out. However, if it was a Cruz Rand ticket and Cruz was the top of the ticket, I don't think that I would do it.
I just emptied my medicine drawer. Ted Cruz is an evil, evil man, and he's done some good. I'm not going to deny that he's done good. But there's two things that we always need to remember. One, his wife is a board member at Goldman Sachs. D-like, if you were married, or Sam, you're married, and your wife, you have a good relationship, you love each other, you go walk through the park and eat ice cream cones on the weekend and talk about each other's days, and your wife goes, oh, I got offered a new job. Oh, that's great, honey. I knew you'd find something. What are you being offered? I'm going to be a board member at Goldman Sachs!
Yeah, well, yeah, but you could look at it the other way, too. You could look at it as, let's pretend you're one of those board members. And if you're one of those board members, then you're saying, man, we got this crazy libertarian-minded woman coming in here. And she's going to turn this into a much more, well, they wouldn't use these words, but they'd say she's going to ruin the damn place.
I don't see that.
She's going to turn it into more of a constitutional-minded operating system here.
Well, how about this, Sam?
I mean, maybe...
Ted Cruz just recently came out, and he called net neutrality the Obamacare of the Internet.
That's the one that worries me a lot more, is that one right there. Because I think where I said a minute ago that Rand would be a good but not great president, even though I don't know if Cruz is really on that evilness or not as we define it, I don't think he'll be a good president. Even if he's
take
not
it back.
evil, I just don't think he's going to be a good. He's got to try.
He's not on the evil list. He's not on the evil list. He's not on the evil list. He's on the bought and paid for list.
Is that, yeah? I don't. Everyone's so excited about him, and he does some stuff I like. I just can't get excited about.
And I'll support him when he does something I like. Like I said, and maybe we can talk about it a little bit. Obama's new executive order. As much as I don't like that he's doing an executive order. I'd prefer to see it come through Congress. But his executive order that's going to give money for training of police in what's it called? Community building and community interaction. It's going to get over 50,000 police chest cameras out there, and it's going to address the problem of the militarization of the police. I support Obama on that. I think it's a really good thing. It doesn't mean it's the one thing that I can ever say I've supported Obama on, but I will say when I'm not going to just hate something just because he did it. Or there's good things Ted Cruz has done, but I still don't trust him. I don't trust Obama at all, but I do have to admit that I'm down with that executive order.
Right. Well, you have to stay open to the president's policies, not just your personal feelings about whoever the president is in general. We sort of steered from the CIA torture report into 2016 presidential speculation, which to me, all the prospects right now actually does sound like fucking torture. But we've spent some time on that, and now it is time for Sam's science report. If Sam, you have some science for us today?
I sure do. Where's that wonderful theme song?
It's time to learn some science. So here's Sam with the science front.
Greetings, unsettled souls, and welcome to this week's News from the Science Front. This is from CNET.com. Why NASA looks to Europa to find building blocks of life. I was delighted with this, Anybody who's followed this knows exactly why I'm happy. If you haven't, I can give it to you real quick. It's very likely that some of the moons of Jupiter and Saturn could house water, and even though they're so far from the sun, due to the way that they spin, they create a certain amount of heat internally, which means there could be a lot of life on these worlds. And the fact that we went to Mars with the rover, it angered a lot of people that follow this. Well, it looks like this is a direction where finally the people that are wanting to check out these moons are being heard. When it
Really
comes
quickly, Sam, for people who don't know what Europa is, that's a moon of Saturn, correct? That its orbit is in a weird way. It's a giant ball of ice, but the way that it orbits, it looks like it's being expanded and contracted. It's being pulled and then pushed back together, which would create heat.
I think that might be Titan. I'm not sure. This is a Jupiter moon, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, Jupiter. But yeah, it's the one. It's ice on the outside, but they believe it's liquid underneath, right?
Yes. It says, when it comes to life, biologists have long hypothesized that its origins, on Earth at least, were in the thermal vents on the ocean floor, following a period of spontaneous metabolism before life began. Again, this lends itself to evolution, of which I'm not a big fan of, but it doesn't change the fact that there is life there. Thermal vents are rich sites for marine life, especially in Antarctica, where in the darkness, under the ice, creatures proliferate in warm, mineral-rich waters steaming from vents. I've heard people say that the radioactivity would be too high because the atmosphere is thin. We know that that's not true because we were floored to find bacterial life in the radioactive cooling waters of Fukushima. Just little bacteria floating around in the most toxic water on the entire planet. So that has also been ruled out. It can happen. It's just one of several theories, but if it's correct, Jupiter's moon Europa could be very exciting place indeed. Ever since plumes of vapor were discovered on Jupiter's moon, and we went to Mars, it was found in December last year, and NASA has been floating theories about the oceans that may be sloshing away under the layer of surface ice. Its similarities to theories about the early Earth look like it may have the ingredients for life. It says, quote, there is an ocean in our solar system that has been in existence for billions of years. It's an ocean that is perhaps 10 times as deep as Earth's ocean. It's an ocean that is global and may contain 2 to 3 times the volume of all the liquid water on Earth. It's an ocean that exists beneath the icy shell of Jupiter's moon Europa, said NASA astrobiologist John Hand. It's in the newest NASA video. In its early days before the formation of the ozone layer, Earth's atmosphere was largely devoid of oxygen, and we know that the Earth has been all but covered in a layer of ice several times in the past. That is, of course, news to Al Gore. These ice layers, which provided protection from harsh ultraviolet light and crude atmosphere, combined with thermal vents, cites the propagation of single-celled organisms. So what we're looking at here, like Kyle said, is the best opportunity to find some kind of life. Again, oceanic life. But I mean, look how smart dolphins are look how their intelligence level is. Some sharks have mind-blowing intelligence. So this could be interesting. What do you guys think?
I think it's awesome. I think it's very interesting to think there could be an entire world where, like, we have an air and gas barrier between us and space, that they have literally an ice ozone. Like, that's just so insane, and that there could be life there. I mean, literally. I mean, it's probably unlikely, but there could be fucking mermaids, Sam. Have you considered that?
Or sirens.
Oh,
The other thing is, and I know you haven't thought of this yet, Kyle, but it could be Water World.
Oh, shit. Could be.
For you new listeners, Kyle has an obsession with Waterworld, and he hasn't really thought of this yet.
There's like a Kevin Costner character under the water there, and he's like, there's dry land, there's something above the ice, and they're like, don't bust the ice. He's like, I'm going to bust the ice. And hopefully he doesn't, because that would be bad for him.
Well,
it says if NASA could get an explorer to Europa to drill the ice and survey the moon, we could find out if it does indeed have an ocean with thermal vents on the floor, and if extraterrestrial organisms live there. But it seems the thermal vents may be vital for fauna, and we all know that that is, of course, the building blocks of sea life is fauna. So it's interesting.
Sure.
Bubble domes underneath, Jar Jar Binks characters.
Okay, yeah, they're underwater. We need some of those Jedi swim underwater things. But
Jedis always carry with them.
Now that I see the picture that D-Lake put up, good job, D-Lake. Yes, that is the one that you were talking about.
Yeah, that's NASA.
Yes.
Right, NASA's talking about Next Stop Europa, and Kyle, Sam, how do you feel about who's going to get there first? NASA, China, and how do we plan to get there, Kyle? I know you're a big fan of space exploration. What do you think?
Honestly, I think we're still at the point in the game where it takes governments. I do. That's one thing where I do give government credit. Like I said, you can think that other means are better, but right now, when it comes to space exploration, you need government to do it, because what it takes to do something in the private sector is profit. And we are nowhere near making it profitable to go into space. So you need government to take us to the same certain point. Same thing happened with computers, right?
And government can't ruin it because somebody doing it better. So
yeah,
government has to look good by default.
Yeah, there's nobody else to look good, or for them to make look bad, or for them to hurt in any way.
Space exploration is a good area for the government to get into for that reason.
Look at computers. The first computers were built by government. They were built at universities for experiments and stuff. Like up until the late 1960s, they were building these supercomputers, which are literally like old black and white Nokias in comparison now, not even. But up until the late 60s, that was all government. That was all universities, which are state institutions. There was nobody in the private sector, really, until like the mid-70s. And then once it became profitable and there was a reason to do it, the private sector took over, and they've blasted us far past what government ever could have done. But government got us to that point where private industry had a reason to be intrigued by it, or there was some money to be made there. In the same way, we need NASA to get us to that point, and space agencies of other countries. I'd prefer it to be NASA, because I like to think that that's kind of our thing. That's our shit in America, is getting to other planets, space exploration. But the things that have come out of NASA, even so far, before NASA, they invented a lot of like the small technology that we have now. Before them, there was no such thing as a portable radio. A radio was a giant appliance that you had in your house that was like the size of like a coffee table. But NASA needed tiny radios because they needed everything as light as possible. As light as possible means as small as possible. So they really innovated a lot of things and made everything smaller, more compact, and we saw that go into the private sector markets. We've gained immensely from NASA. So we do need NASA to do this, but we need the public to come out and say, hey, we want NASA funded. I will give, like, you see those commercials, like, for the cost of a cup of coffee a day, you can save kids in Africa. I want my cup of coffee a day to go to going to Mars and going to Europa. It wouldn't be expensive. Like that spaceship that was landed on the comet recently. Sam, weren't you talking about how it cost like the people? What nation was it? It's like Russia. Sweden or something.
Oh no,
was it?
What?
But yeah, it cost the people of the nation who launched that thing like literally like barely any money at all if you break it down person for person. And most people are totally okay. Like when you say my tax dollars are going to war, my tax dollars are going towards building drones, the war on drugs, protecting like fucking fighting drug cartels, whatever it is, I'm kind of like, fuck that. I don't want my money to go to that. When you say your money's going towards building a fucking spaceship, I'm like, okay, oh yeah, you want some more money?
Well, to address D-Lake's question about how we're going to do it, I think, and there's a couple reasons for this, and I know that things are bad with Russia and China, so hear me out. I think it's going to be, especially if we ever actually land on one of these distant places, it's going to be some kind of a combination of the three countries working together, also possibly India. And I say this for a number of reasons. First of all, the countries need their propaganda. Never forget that. And if Russia and America are about to nuke each other, and you want to keep the population calm, We're not gonna nuke each other. We're in space together. Oh, all right. So let's watch another edition of Seinfeld. It placates people into a false sense of safe, and they need that. And in this instance, it actually goes towards a good. But the point is, anyway, they need that negative.
I agree with you, Sam. That's
where the money is going to come from too. I don't think any nation right now, especially with another crash possibly on the horizon, has much money to do this. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen for more than one country.
I agree with you, Sam, and I think it will happen for more than one nation, similar to the space station, which is multiple nations are involved. But I think, let's say that we go to Mars, right, and we colonize Mars. Within 10, 20, maybe even 30 years of that space station or that colony on a different planet being self-sufficient where they no longer require materials coming from Earth to support them, revolution. I think it's inevitable. I think once you have a self-sustaining colony on another planet, and like you said, you got Russians over there, Chinese, Americans all working together on this colony, and they see fucking tensions building between their countries on Earth, and they start getting messages from their home planet saying, here, don't tell the other people this, and, you know, steal this information from them. I think they go, fuck that, we're not associated with you anymore, we're our own planet, leave Mars alone. And there's nothing they could do about it, in the same way that for Britain to fight the colonies, it took sending dudes in boats over that took like over a month, and half of them died on the way there. Like,
that would be a great story. We should write this story, Kyle. You and I should write. If anybody reading this, if you are a publisher, if you will publish it, Kyle and I will write it. Are you in, Kyle?
Oh, yeah. I'm down.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is Kyle is a big fan of futuristic stories like that. He's like, oh, yeah, it's just like when the boats came over here to America.
All right, guys,
like,
you fund it. We will write it. We said it live on the air. You fund it. We will write it.
Yeah, maybe we can get in touch with Sony. Oh, okay, yeah. Listen, guys, I said it was, to bring us back around full circle, okay? I said it was Russia. No, I was wrong. The Rosetta is a robotic space probe, the one that landed on that comet the same day that Kim Kardashian's big ass.
Is that the same probe they used in Guantanamo?
Oh, good one.
Yeah. Because D-Lake said probe. Okay, it was launched.
He's likely to make that joke, by the way, and that's what made it that much better.
Okay, guys, I said it was Russia. I was wrong. It was launched by the European. It was built and launched by the European Space Agency. And the mission duration was 10 years, 9 months, and 10 days elapsed. I mean, we knew where the comet was going to be like 10 years ago. I mean, how did that work out?
Well, as long as it's not one of the ones that are just hurling through space, if it's got some kind of an orbit, we know about a lot of them. I don't know.
Yeah, you can find trajectory and be like, figure out where something's going to be based on where it is and what direction it's going, right?
The most fascinating ones are both the comets and the planets. They don't have an orbit. They just zoom.
Wouldn't that be scary?
So how do we know it was going to zoom by to land on 10 years ago?
Think about it. It's always cold. It's always dark.
Can you imagine if we lost our orbit for some reason and President Obama and people, Putin, everybody's got to get on and address their nations and be like, we're just hurling through space now. Like, fuck! You'd be in constant fear.
Oh, you'd be frozen to death within
It literally
weeks.
gives me shivers just to think about, God, I'm glad we have orbit.
Yeah, the Rosetta was launched on March 2nd, 2004 on an Ariane 5 rocket and reached the comet on August 6, 2014, becoming the first spacecraft to orbit a comet. So, I mean, they had to have known, right?
Oh, yeah, they
Yeah, that was very much planned and
okay.
An amazing feat. Did we ever talk about the dude's shirt?
when Kyle... Oh, the guy's shirt?
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle, if you could address that and then segue us into entertainment, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, the guy, Sam, you heard about this, right?
I don't know.
One of the scientists who was responsible for that 10-year mission to get that...
He made a feminist mad. I couldn't tell what the shirt was.
The shirt, here's the thing. All right, everybody was, feminists were so upset that he had a shirt that it had pin-up women on it. It was like a pin-up girl shirt.
Oh,
I think D might be grabbing a picture of it. There you go. So it's got pin-up girls all over it, right? And here's the thing. So would I. And
he's got full tattoo sleeves too. You can see at the bottom of his shirt there too. So he's tattooed, bearded, wears glasses, and a shirt with pinup girls on it. I mean, that could be D-Leg for Praz.
D-Leg, if you're sitting at a bar and you're talking to the guy next to you, it's that guy with the tattoos and the beard and the pinup lady shirt. He's like, what do you do? And you're like, oh, I make stickers, and you're explaining your job and stuff. You're like, what do you do for a living? He's like, I make spaceships. You'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, buddy. Like, you make spaceships. But he does.
I'm like, cool, you're buying the next round, guy. I like your shirt.
Yeah, I like you. Where'd you get that? And here's the thing, Sam. This is the best part. The shirt was made for him by his female friend, and he wore it on TV intentionally to try and help her business. She's got like an Etsy or something where she's trying to sell similar clothing. And he wore it as a favor to a woman to try and help her sell these shirts. And feminists get outraged. Oh, that's dope.
Oh, look at his tattoo, Rosetta. His mission landing on a comet. Great work there to the tattoo artist and the Etsy lady that made the shirt. Kyle,
and she might be above Etsy. I don't know.
I mean, how do you feel about segueing that into entertainment?
Well, I want to ask you, Sam. I don't know if I asked you to watch it. You might have watched it already. Have you? I know D-Lake's seen it. Black Mirror.
I have not seen Black Mirror yet.
You have to watch it. It's on Netflix. It's a BBC show. D-Lake, what did you think about Black Mirror? And explain what it is. Give a quick explanation.
Okay. Shut up.
I've been telling my friends at work, so I've already kind of prepared my definition. It's like some things that Sam's really gonna like here. It's sort of like Twilight Zone. It's sort of like an Alfred Hitchcock type of thing, done by the BBC. But the twist to it all is this: each episode is different, like an Alfred Hitchcock. But they all sort of focus on like future technology and weird what-if scenarios of like future computers.
It's all projections based on technologies we have like now. So like there's one episode that like in my opinion very much like centers around like cell phone technology and where like the cell phone and Candy Crush and Facebook and where all that's leading us to.
And they say Facebook and Twitter and they say stuff like that in the episodes, but it always sounds like it's 10 years in the future where it's all getting like mutated. Right, Kyle?
Yeah, and some of the episodes, so it's a really, really dark show, but it's just like about like each one it takes like some like aspect of technology, whether it's like cell phones. There's like cell phones, one of them's about social media, one of them's about hacking and cyber attacks, but it takes whatever like social technological topic and it just pushes it to the furthest dystopian place that it can possibly go. Like the cell phone one, which is like, I don't want to give too much away.
But there's always a personal psychological twist to each episode too. That's what makes it like a Alfred Hitchcock to me.
It's very much. It reminds me a lot of the Twilight Zone.
I love Twilight Zone and Hitchcock.
Yeah, it's
so
very.
It's like
very
both of those for real.
It's you should Sam. You'll probably love it. I should have tagged you when I tagged D Lake and Megan, being like, you guys gotta fucking watch this. I should have tagged you on it too. Watch.
I'm angered that the Pirate Bay is down because, you know, I have been known. I had a ship dock there, man. I was on the Pirate Bay all the time.
I rocked the Put Locker.
One thing that I can say though that two things that surprised me because just the order of events was Kyle posted his new favorite shows, Black Mirror, and he thought I'd be a fan of it. I should check it out. I'm like, oh yeah, like I go to my Netflix and I find Black Mirror and I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen that picture like a couple times. The cover just wasn't doing anything for me, you know. It's just like, oh, that looks stupid. But
yeah, the cover image is dumb.
But I hovered over it and it's like, D-Lake, you're gonna love this. Netflix predicts that you will give this 5 stars and love it. I'm like,
same with me, which it never gives you 5 stars. It usually gives you like 4.5 if you're really
very rare that it's rated so high that I'll like it that much. And I really did love it. But the thing that surprised me is I sort of, like, when I get on a new show on Netflix, I want to watch it. First night, watch the first 2 episodes. Second night, watched episode 3, and I thought I was going to start watching episode 4, but I started watching season 2, episode 1, because there's only 3 episodes per season. And I
Yeah.
stopped watching White Bear last night, Kyle, because I'm like, man, I don't want this to end.
3
yet.
episodes per season. I have to remember
Yeah,
that.
so there's only 6. I still haven't watched the last episode. I started watching like 10 minutes of it, and I was just too tired. I had to go to sleep, and now I'm like saving it. Like I don't want to watch the last one because it's like then I'm done.
Yeah, see, I was on episode 5, and the White Bear, and I stopped it halfway. But the first episode with the Prime Minister is amazing. The second episode is a real trip, man. It's like.
That's why I said watch the second one. The first one was good. It's not because the first one was bad, but the second one to me was amazing.
Kyle, how would you describe it without spoiling? Kyle, how would you describe episode 2 without spoiling it? I would say it's like what if episode, and I know Sam's a fan of that. What if American Idol was like a prison?
Yeah, I would say it's like what if reality TV, mainstream media, and your cell phone were your entire life. Like nothing else. Because it's like I won't give away too much, but like it's very much based around like the cell phone idea, but it's not in cell phones. It's just all around you everywhere. And like everybody, like if you want like a new hat, you don't buy a new hat. You buy your avatar a new hat. And it's like nothing is real.
Wow.
Bizarre. Really bizarre.
Without giving away too much more, or spending too much time on this, my favorite episode was episode 3. The history of your whole life with the redo. Kyle, did you like that one?
Oh, the one where like the people are following her with the cell phones watching.
No, that's the one I turned off. No, the redo where you can see all your memories from the past. Your eyes are on TV with the little technology.
That was that one. Even Megan, she watched that one and she was like, that episode was so sad. And like. Spoilers for anybody out there. It's not giving it away too much.
I hate when people do that. Don't do that.
I'm trying to think of how to say this where it doesn't ruin it, but it's like you think one thing the whole episode, but then at the end it's like, fuck, he was right. That's all I'm gonna say.
Each episode, and that's what's so great about it, Sam. We won't spoil anything, but it doesn't really spoil it to say that every episode sort of ends in that Alfred Hitchcock Twilight Zone, holy crap kind of way.
Like at the end of the Twilight Zone episode, I'm sure everybody's seen it. It's a famous one where like it's like the 1950s because it's fucking Twilight Zone, and there's guys who work at like a military installation where they're building like nuclear bombs and stuff, and these guys have inside information that the nuclear holocaust is happening tomorrow, and they have this secret ship, and we need to get to it, and we need to get the fuck out of here before shit goes crazy. And at the end, they're in the ship, and they're heading towards this new planet that can sustain life, and the one guy says to the other, they speak a similar language. They're similar. We'll be able to blend in. We'll be able to assimilate. What's it called? Earth.
I love that.
Like, yeah, it's very much like that. You're gonna like. All right, we've spent enough time on Black Mirror, but it's such a good show. You're gonna come back next week, Sam, and you're gonna be like, I watched Black Mirror. It's the best thing ever.
I'll tell you what else is really cool. I just found it's being actually shot in Canton. It's called Rotor DR1, and in it, it's like a virus has wiped. It's not like the other movies you've seen beyond the virus, so don't panic. A virus wipes out most of Earth, and the people that are left are trying to capture these drones for their power supplies. And I guess at one point the drones must have been everywhere. It's interesting. It's called Rotor DR1, and
that sounds very interesting.
It's free online right now. It's really good.
That sounds like, and there's been a few documentaries about it. I've been meaning to look it up, like how, like you said, they're capturing drones for their power source. Have you heard of this? Is actually happening in Vietnam. There's bomb hunters because it's like 1 out of every so many bombs that we dropped on Vietnam didn't go off, and their metal and their contents are worth like a lot of money. And so, like a farmer out there can literally make more money by finding one of these bombs than he would make in 10 years of farming. So a lot of these people go into like the jungle and shit to search for them. Problem is, as much as there's unexploded bombs that are worth a lot of money, there's also unexploded mines. And so like a lot of these people get their legs blown off and shit. And there's like humanitarian organizations going into Vietnam being like, don't fucking go looking for these bombs. Like you're going to get your legs blown off or die.
That's
So that like
you never really think about that. I mean, there's a lot of talk about well, not enough talk, but you hear about DU. You never really hear about that. That's
Yeah, when
something
you
that
leave the
never really
country,
crosses your mind.
yeah, but that's similar in the same way. Like those people looking for bombs, like yeah, maybe like drones will be a source of energy. We'll be scavenging for those after the apocalypse.
It's very likely. It is unfortunately more likely than not.
All right, so I found Black Mirror, which D-Like loved. It's still not. It still doesn't hold up to D-Like, who made the best recommendation I've ever had. Sam, have you watched Snowpiercer yet?
I did watch Snowpiercer. It was very good.
That was dope, right?
It was very, very good.
D-Like recommendation. That Black Mirror, I think, is close, but still
That's like-
Snowpiercer.
That's
Metropolis was also really good. I liked it.
definitely one of the best recommendations that I've gotten lately. I'm really enjoying that Black Mirror, so much so that I'm like a little bit frustrated that there's only 6 episodes total.
I know.
But great stuff, and I recommend that as well.
Has it been renewed? Is it going to have another season?
I'm pretty sure it will be. There's no way it can't be. The new Star Wars trailer that we talked about 2 weeks ago is really exciting the crazies, the fans. And the names of the characters in the trailer have been released, and the way that J.J. Abrams and the new Star Wars crew is doing it is presenting them on these old Topps cards. Like, if you guys remember,
Genius.
we had
Oh, that's badass.
I had
love
the old
those.
Star Wars cards.
I had
So did
those
I.
cards too. I had those
I have
cards
the
too.
entire original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, too, and I don't know where they are. I can cry.
I had. Do you remember, before we get into the names, which I haven't looked up these yet? I saw that they were out, but I hadn't looked them up, so I'm glad you brought it up. But do you remember the C-3PO card? The C-3PO card was like drowned in controversy because for some reason when they took the picture, there was allegedly a piece of like C-3PO's costume that had like come out of place, and on the C-3PO trading card it looks like he's got a big robot dick.
Find it. We got to see it.
I'll look it up, but I remember this was a thing, and I had that card, and it was like a big deal. Like, look, he's got a robot dick.
I remember there was another thing with the cards that Return of the Jedi was originally titled Revenge of the Jedi, and there was a card made that's out there that said Revenge of the Jedi before they changed the name. So, I don't know, guys. Maybe some of these names could be changed, but Kylo, are you looking that up with the C-3PO's boner?
Yeah, I'm seeing if I can find it.
Okay, well, here, let me run through the names while you're doing that. The X-Wing pilot, his name is Poe Dameron in his X-Wing. And I just love the classic look of these cards. Finn on the run. Apparently the Stormtrooper guy, the black gentleman that we see popping up in the very beginning of the trailer, surprised me. That's Finn on the run.
Do you think Poe will make it through the entire movie, or do you think the Poe man will die?
He'll be like a Wedge or a Dak Porkins or whatever.
The Poe man.
He'll be awesome, but he might not make the whole movie.
I'm glad. What if the Stormtrooper guy? What if his name was like Delirious or something? You know, like that would be so horrible. Throwing it out there.
This is Rey on her speeder.
I got a feeling I'm gonna go with that's Han and Leia's kid. That's my guess.
Okay, that's not her
That's
name in the expanded universe, but you never know. It could be in the new series. What? Okay, before I get to this, the guy with the lightsaber that I was willing to bet people $20 was Luke Skywalker is really Kylo Ren.
Awesome, favorite character.
Kylo Ren ignites his lightsaber. Darth Maul is my Facebook screen character because I remember how much I loved Darth Maul before the Star Wars came out. I thought he was great in the first Star Wars, and they really should have brought him back with robot legs or something cool for the second one. But anyways, going back to the Star Wars, so that's Kylo Ren. Okay, that was it. Oh no, wait, that's not it. I saw on another broadcast that little robot that's on like a ball moving through. That's BB-8.
Wait, let me look. I'm still looking. I'm going back and forth. BB-8.
BB-8 is that droid that we see rolling like a ball with his little like R2D2 head on top in the trailer.
I'm okay with that droid. A lot of people were like mad by that. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
alright with it.
The beauty of it is, remember there was Star Wars cards, like these new cards back in the day. There was like a card for Hammerhead and like people and aliens at the cantina. They're
I
in the
feel
movie
like those.
for one
This was like.
second.
This was pre.
Greedo, yeah, Greedo. I love
Yeah.
Greedo and Bosk.
For
Yeah.
me, those cards were like pre and like very, very early internet, and it's like without those cards, you would have no idea who Admiral Akbar was. Like, you know, like
Right.
you wouldn't know his name. So I like those cards. I can't
And how-
find a picture of this card anywhere. I'm swear I'm not making it up, and it was a real thing.
Yeah. But Sam, how do you feel about the names in general? Do they sound Star Warsian? Finn, Rey, Han, Luke, Kylo. Kylo, how do you feel about the name Kylo? It's kind of
I
like
think
Kyle.
it's awesome. He's definitely gonna be my favorite character.
I think Poe is a
Sith Lord.
stupid name, but I like all the other ones. But that's Poe choice of naming there. I'm not a fan, but I like the other ones.
He's going to go eat a po' boy sandwich after this episode.
That Poe man ain't gonna make it through the movie. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that one, but I like the other names. I like the droid name a lot.
Yeah, BB-8. It's like a BB or like a basketball or like a ball bearing. But you see how, I don't know, just the way that this looks all 70s with this like big
Yeah.
sparkle and like the colors are like old and muted or something. I don't know. It's something about it just looks classic.
I like it.
I like it a lot too. All right, guys. I mean, how are you feeling? What else do we have in entertainment?
I'm getting very angry that I can't find this fucking card that I know I owned as a child. It's just not out there anywhere. Like George Lucas paid to have it removed from the internet, which can't happen. Have you ever tried to look up fucking what's his name, the video of him eating the cheeseburger drunk on the floor?
No.
David
I didn't
Hasselhoff?
know about it.
David Hasselhoff. Was it you that told me about that, D-Like?
You can't find David Hasselhoff eating a cheeseburger on the
That
internet?
video doesn't exist. He paid like millions of dollars and had it removed from
It
the
was
internet.
his daughter that put it out originally.
Yeah, try and find that video. You won't be able to. You'll find cartoon renditions of it. You'll find people talking about it, but you will not find the video. I think George Lucas might did the same thing with C-3PO's metal cock.
That's
I
hilarious.
can't find it, and I know because it was like a big deal. Like I had this card, which I traded like a ton of other cards from another kid to get because it was like the one with C-3PO's dick. And like you'd show it to people, be like, "Look at this picture." They'd be like, and they'd be like, "What?" And you'd point to it, and they'd be like, "No way." Big
Hey,
deal.
speaking of characters' penises, did you know there's always been a huge controversy for the costume designers on the Superman movies about like how big to make his codpiece or his like
Oh, for sure. That makes
when
sense.
he was wearing the red shorts and the Christopher Reeve, like Christopher Reeve had like 30 different size cod pieces, and like Margot Kidder used to like to flick his cod piece and go, "Oh, look how big it is." Yeah, she was a crazy
I think they
broad.
should just go real, and they should not edit based on anything. So like if there's a scene where like
I
Superman
think it
is
should
like
be skin tight, real size. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And like if there's what's her name, like Lois Lane or whatever, scene where like she's like, "Thank you, Superman," and she like presses up against him and like gives him a big kiss, and then when she walks away, if he's got a bone, that shit goes in the movie. That's real. That's real life, Theo.
Yeah, we're just keeping it real. I mean, he's got a super boner. Kyle wants to see veins and ridges and everything in his shorts.
I want those. I want his codpiece tight, and I want it thin.
Yeah, thin material, big giant cod piece going on there. Yeah, no, that's
I want to
great.
see the
I mean,
hint of a fleshy hue through it. Okay?
you would think you would think how are we going to make Superman fly would be the main issue, but apparently on set the main issue is how big or small the codpiece should be.
That's fair. I wonder if there's been any controversy about like the Hulk and like
Yeah.
stuff there. I mean, because like if
I'm
that
sure there was.
that's legit because you're taking something that was easy to draw as a cartoon and just like avoid that issue, and when you make it real life, it's like we gotta address this issue.
The Hulk is like a big giant green Ken doll. Like he's just got nothing there. It's just
Well, have you heard about? I heard on a podcast that I listened to two black women, they brought it up that there was a park in England that was going to be named Winnie the Pooh Park, but like people in Parliament like vetoed it, and they demanded that they not name it after a pansexual androgynous bear that doesn't wear pants.
I've got the David Hasselhoff drunk band on. It's the Junior commercial. It's on YouTube.
Wait, commercial?
There's a 2-minute and 10-minute. There's a couple. There's a
No, there's a video where David Hasselhoff is
It
like
says drunk cheeseburger.
No,
Yeah,
yeah,
where
you're gonna find a bunch of parodies and comedies and stuff like that. But
the real
I
video
think-
is like an old school cell phone, like a razor video of him like wasted drunk on the floor eating cheeseburger out of like a
He was like,
takeout
oh,
bag.
his cheeseburger was so good. He's all naked and shit. He's like,
Yeah, and the daughter is like, Dad, they said if you don't show up tomorrow, you're fired. And he's like, and he's like having a lot of difficulty eating said cheeseburger. I'll look. Maybe it's been re-uploaded and it's
He's all
findable. But I
drunk on
remember
ecstasy or something.
somebody told me about it, and I searched the internet for like a solid half an hour and could not find it. Maybe it's back. I don't know.
Maybe Anonymous brought it back for everyone.
Yeah. D-Lake, how do you feel about pansexual androgynous bears who don't wear pants?
I'm okay with penguins being androgynous, but definitely not bears.
Bears should have something there. It's funny that like that happened and I heard about that news story because I actually like everybody's done like you're walking around your house with your girlfriend, wife, whatever, and like you're walking around the bedroom and you like got a shirt on but no pants, and I always call that bearing it, Winnie Poohing, pulling a Winnie the Pooh. Because you're walking around with a shirt and no pants, and then like that happens. It's like I am not the only one who found that funny, apparently, or well, noticed it. They found it very outrageous. These fuck kids cartoon people. Calm down, British Parliament.
If you saw a bear in the woods and it stood up, I mean, are you gonna be like, is that a male or a female?
No, I'm gonna be like, I'm about to run and climb a tree or make myself as big as possible, depending on what type of bear it is.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yogi the bear, did he have pants? I don't think he had pants either.
I don't think he did.
Yeah. And neither did Boo Boo, so that's like...
I could tell you what you want to avoid watching at all costs. There's this independent movie. It's got 117,000 views. It's called Howl's Sasquatch Bigfoot. So I got this and thought it was going to be this awesome, spooky, independent. This is the most boring film that has ever been committed to video. I can give everybody a heads up. Don't watch the Howl Sasquatch movie. Unless, if you suffer from insomnia, bam, you'll be out like a light.
When you
Literally.
say boring, are we talking like first Lord of the Rings boring, or are we talking 2001: A Space Odyssey boring?
I didn't think Lord of the Rings was boring. That is my least favorite Kubrick film, though. No, these people are in the woods, and they did a remarkable job filming the woods. I mean, you could tell they were, like, very happy with all the colors and their little artsy shots. The trouble is, the movie just drags.
Yeah.
It's only an hour and 17 minutes long. It feels like a 4-hour movie.
Were they doing the Squatch calls? Were they doing the Sasquatch calling?
Yeah, those are the best. Do him a Squatch call. But
It's like,
speaking
hey, that's
of
Chewbacca. What do you?
speaking of length of movies, when a movie seems like it's dragging on forever, it usually sucks, right? But I've not recently, but there's a movie that seems like it's amazingly long. Like if you were to guess, you'd say 3.5 hours. It's actually not. It's a little bit over 2 hours. It seems like it's insanely long, but it's actually a really, really good movie.
What is
7 Years in Tibet. You ever watched 7 Years in Tibet?
No, I've heard about it.
Brad Pitt, I think, and it's like it's a great movie. It's a great movie, but it seems like it takes forever. Me and my girlfriend looked it up the other day. It turns out it's like not as long as you would think it was. It was like over 2 hours, which is long, but
Yeah, Christelle could never watch anything. She just likes ticket on machines and stuff. So I showed her she'd never seen The Godfather before, like a week or two ago, and she watched it. And that's another movie. That even
Not,
she was like, she
actually,
watched it. No, I'm sorry, she watched the second one. I showed her the first one about a year ago. She just watched the second one. I'm not that excited about showing her the third one.
no, Sam, I think, I don't know if this is Total Recall, but I think actually the Godfather movies are historically some of the first, like, longer movies, actually.
Ben-Hur,
Like,
yeah, some of the Bible ones, but yeah,
No, yeah,
otherwise, yeah, you're
Ben-Hur,
right.
Gone with the Wind. Yeah. There's a few.
okay,
The Ten Commandments was longer.
you mentioned 2001: A Space Odyssey. Kubrick made long films, but there's some
That's my
directors.
favorite Kubrick film that I've seen. That one, loved by everyone but me. Not a real big fan. I'm with Kyle on that one. It's just not one of his greats.
Damn, I don't know if you're doing yoga there or what, but yeah, there's some directors that are known historically for making longer films, and like The Godfather is an example, right? I mean,
Yeah, production companies generally don't like those directors though, because think about it, like you can make a movie that's like just over an hour, right? Like an hour and 15, or you can make a movie that's 3 hours long. Now, if you make that 3-hour movie, you're literally cutting the amount of times that you can sell tickets per day to that movie in half. So
I could have made the last Transformers movie about 33 minutes, okay? Because there's a bunch of crap that needed to be cut from that one.
I watched the first one, and I didn't watch them after that. I don't know. I'd rather they did the GoBots. I
Sam, you're a
like
big
the
fan of
GoBots.
Shia LaBeouf, right?
I like Shia LaBeouf. I hear he's a dick, but
I don't even know what that is.
I don't pay money to see him
He
be
got
his
raped.
own weird self. Yeah, I heard about that. I don't pay money to see Shia LaBeouf in his normal life. I pay money to see him with Harrison Ford, combing his hair, riding motorcycles, and finding aliens. That's what I pay him for. So
And swinging on vines with monkeys.
come on, that was pretty dope.
I watched Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. I actually bought it. I have. Yeah,
It's good. I watched it, except for that one ugly guy.
I bought it. Sony.
Had you not
Or,
seen it when
whoever.
you bought it?
20th Century Fox. I paid money for this.
I haven't watched any of those except the originals.
Good. Oh, the originals are great.
Go!
Go! Yeah. Beneath Planet of the Apes is by far the best one. But
Yeah, see, I want them to, in the new movies, I want them to advance to underground people with telepathic powers, and I want them to advance, like the fourth one. Seriously, the astronaut that took off at the end of the first one needs to land back and have a Charlton Heston like redo where, big surprise at the end it'll be Earth.
yeah, which the problem with that is I don't think there's a person on the planet who wouldn't know that. Like
Yeah.
it would be like totally
Big-
like there would. Like I feel like if you went and saw Planet of the Apes in theaters, like the first day it came out, and at the end he's like, "You blew it, didn't you?" and you'd be like, "Oh my God, it was Earth the whole time." Like now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you would kind of you'd know before you went in there. But no, I agree.
Yeah.
They should work their way all the way through the timeline. And the new one, it was good. It had the guy from Lost in Space,
good.
the bad guy. The guy who was also in The Fifth Element. What's that guy's name? The one who had like half of his head was covered in plastic in The Fifth Element. He was the bad guy with the guns.
Oh yeah, Gary Oldman.
Yeah, Gary Oldman.
Yeah.
It had that ugly guy who's also apparently. What was the other movie that they're putting him in?
He's gonna
The
be
Terminator.
John Connor, Jason
That's-
Clarke, I think.
I don't. He's a good actor, but like he needs to be playing like a scientist or something. He needs to be playing a nerd because he has an ugly
Yeah.
face. Like I'm sorry. Call me a dick. I want somebody like Christian Bale or Mark Wahlberg or Jason Statham to play.
That guy Jason Clarke is kind of nerdy. He's not really like a badass.
No, he's not a badass, and like nothing against him personally. He is a good actor, but in Planet of the Apes, I'll even say that was one role that was good for him because he had to be a little bit badass, but a little bit sciencey at the same time. Like it worked out well. I'll say he was well cast in that movie.
A little bit confident, but a little bit afraid at the same time.
Yeah, he was, a little bit of a mix and in between. You didn't pick him last for Dodgeball, but he definitely wasn't your first pick. But if he was your lab partner, you were cool with it. But I want a super badass to be John Connor. And even Christian Bale, who I'm not a huge fan of, but Christian Bale I think was a decent John Connor. Like, honestly, the best thing I think they could do is get the kid from T2, who is also in Detroit Rock City, get him off the drugs, get him on
Edward
a
Furlong.
workout regimen, bring him back. Bring that motherfucker back.
Edward Furlong, yeah, he would be like the perfect age too. That'd be pretty tight. I would be down for that.
Apparently, the reason that he wasn't in Terminator 3 is, like, I guess, like, they were considering it, but they're like, he's fat and drugged up. Apparently,
The
he's not doing too good.
The next Superman needs to be played by Danny DeVito. I'm just saying.
I'd see it. Yeah, that movie. But
Danny DeVito as Superman.
Yeah, Sam, you really know how to end the entertainment section there. Guys, I think it's been a... You really know how to kill
like
it.
a little speckle of kryptonite would just kill him.
wait. If you did that, though, you would have to have, what's her name? Lois Lane, right? Am I getting that name right?
Yeah, Lois Lane, or
She needs to be like a tall, leggy person.
No,
like
Rhea
Angelina
Perlman.
Jolie.
she would be Rita Perlman from
Yeah,
Cheers.
Definitely. She would have to be. Which apparently they're married. Like,
Yeah, that's his wife.
made in
Who
match
is-
made in heaven, right?
Who is?
Rhea Perlman from Cheers.
Yeah, her and Danny DeVito. That's husband and wife, right?
The two that, like, the one
blonde.
from Cheers who looks like Danny DeVito is married to Danny DeVito.
Okay, wait. Maybe Kyle's the one that knows how to end this. Let me look that up real quick. And I hope everyone appreciates this show and how like we like look stuff up all fast.
Yeah, a Family Guy actually did a joke about it where it was like Danny DeVito asked Rhea Perlman to marry him, and he's like, "It's me or nobody." And she's like, "Okay."
Yeah. If it's not me, oh look, they're almost the same height, Sam.
She's taller.
She's a little bit taller.
They're both
That's
just like
great.
insanely tiny people, though.
They look more like brother and sister.
They do. Do they have kids? Look up if they have kids. I need to know.
Oh god.
Net worth. 5 feet 2 inches. Daughter, apparently. I saw that pop up.
Ugh.
Oh, is this the family? Wait, is that Danny?
I
No,
think
that's
it
some
is.
other. Is that him?
I think
Wow.
it's undied.
Is that all of their kids? Wow. Their kids are fair. Wait, zoom in on that picture. I need to
So
see it
he's
better.
he's been doing a bit of the old in and out.
Barely.
I don't want to save it. What the hell happened?
What?
They're like, oh, you
I
must
guess
want
that would be the old in out. I love it.
The old in out and out.
That's what you want to save it. Like, that's weird. Here.
All right, fine. Like,
I guess that's him without his sunglasses on. He's getting old. I didn't know Danny DeVito was getting old. He's one of those timeless guys.
well, think about it. How old was he when he was doing like what was the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Twins.
Twins. That was a long ass time ago. Like, look at that's them in like what, like the late 70s,
1980.
1980. There you go. It's like right there. How old would you say he is in that picture? Early 30s, mid 30s.
Gosh, I don't know. Yeah.
Then that's
Hard
like
to tell. He's
1980.
balding early and
1980 is what, like 35 years ago, 34 years ago. Like, yeah, he's old. Oh, don't put a lightning strike behind him. How fucking rude of you.
I know.
What's
Is this one of his daughters?
Take a bite out of that tomato.
Doesn't look so bad.
No.
What's the lightning strike? I missed it.
I don't know. Some news station was probably saying they're gonna split or something.
Oh,
Why
that's
are they gonna
awful.
fucking do that?
They split
People
after
stop
30
reading
years.
things.
They split after 30 years of marriage. I didn't hear about that. That's not true.
Full of shit, blogger.
Come on!
Look at how young they are in that black and white picture. Like, yeah, they're old people.
Let me see it.
Oh, and Tim Robbins is married to
Yeah.
Susan Sarandon.
Do you know, I just recently found out fucking, what's his name? He has a Netflix special out. The guy from Parks and Rec.
The guy with the beard?
Isn't Susan Sarandon a nutcase?
The guy, he's married to the guy who's like very, very manly.
She
He plays
nutcase in the movie.
Ron Swanson. What's his real name? Nick
Oh, yeah.
Offerman.
Yeah,
Nick
yeah, yeah.
Offerman is married to Megan Mullally, who is like the girl from like Will and Grace.
Oh.
Good for them.
Kyle, a big fan of celebrity marriages, apparently. I didn't know that, Kyle.
I just love Netflix, I guess.
Let's look up celebrity couples, since we're obviously still in entertainment.
Oh, wait. What's the guess on the first image that pops up? Mine is Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie, and I think somewhere within the first 3 rows will be Brad Pitt and one of the Jennifers that he's dated. Boom, I win.
Kanye.
I win.
First image, Brad Pitt, Angelina Jolie. Kyle wins on that one.
I'm kind of embarrassed that I won that now that I think about it.
Yeah.
All right, when we start talking about celebrity marriages, it's probably time to end the show. We shouldn't.
Okay. Yeah.
We've gone too far.
Good call. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, Ben Affleck and Jennifer. I saw it. All right, sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh, Will Smith, Jada Pinkett. Who else do I see here? Okay.
It's like the end of Romper Room. In my mirror, I see.
Here, Kyle. I'm gonna step away. If you can address who we're seeing here.
Let's see if I know. All right. There's some Brad Pitt, Angelina. There's the guy who is a vampire. There's Harry Potter and Emma Watson. Aziz Ansari. I see him. More Brad Pitt. Oh, Macaulay Culkin with what's her name from that '70s show? It looks like.
Really?
That's all. Ben Affleck and Jennifer Alias. That's all I know. Garner. That's her last name. Garner. That's all I can recognize. Oh wait, is that Zac Efron too.
I don't even know who that is. That's great.
Zac Efron. A fan of Zac Efron.
I thought Zaphron was a kind of rice.
I think he's might be. He's a good actor. I like Zac Efron. Haven't seen anything of his that I didn't like.
Are you guys making fun of me?
No, we're making fun of myself by knowing who
Heidi
some
Klum
of these
and
people are.
Seal.
I don't know who those people are.
He's like
I saw Johnny Depp over there. Oh, Justin Timberlake. I know him.
Jessica Biel.
Yeah, from Seventh Heaven.
Yeah. See, I like Jennifer Biel in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's my favorite. It's my favorite version of that movie. However, once I found out that she went out with Justin Timberlake, I immediately lost all respect for her.
I don't know who those people were.
I was no longer a fan.
Sam, cry me a river. Cry me a river, Sam. Cry me a river, Sam.
So I lost all respect for Benny Benassi after he worked with Chris Brown, too. I was like, oh, I used to be a fan. I'm not now.
I could not pick Chris Brown out of the lineup. I don't even know who that is. I could not name one
Chris
song.
Brown's very likely to be in a lineup, so that's interesting.
I don't know. To pick out. He's got that stupid neck tattoo.
Okay, I'll remember that. If anybody's like, which one of these people is Chris Brown, or I'm going to cut off your pinky, I'll look for the guy with the neck tattoo. Because there's crazy people out there who will kidnap you and threaten to cut parts of your body off or kill your family members if you don't identify celebrities in lineups. That happens. I've had a friend of a friend.
Jay-Z and Beyonce. I win. No,
I don't know who that. I honestly couldn't. Beyond maybe. No, I couldn't pick them out of a lineup. I just don't care.
Oh, okay.
Beyonce's the singer that looks like a linebacker. You couldn't.
No, I could because I saw a video randomly in my Facebook feed where somebody's like, does she look like she's on like massive amounts of drugs? And so I watched it and I was like, yeah, she does.
Oh, the one where she was nodding off at like the basketball game or something?
Something like that. Like she looked like she was on drugs. Wait, I do know who those two are. That's David Beckham, right?
Oh, Beckham and the Spice Girl?
Yeah. I figured that one out. What are they doing?
Salty Spice or something.
Something.
40 Spice?
Juicy Spice. 40 Spice. I don't know. Baby Spice was the hottest one, let's be real. We all knew that, right? The whole time.
Hey, I got another one. It just came to me. Dan Badandy as Rocky.
Dan by Dandy? Ground and Pound. I'd see that
Dan
movie.
by Dandy as Uncle Fester.
That wasn't called for.
Oh fuck! I'd see that movie 100 times. I'd just be at the theater all day until my card got declined, seeing it over and over again.
How many wives has Tom Cruise had again?
One for every gay relationship he's tried to cover up.
Yeah.
That's the theory, right?
Gay,
that Tom Cruise is gay. That's what people think.
Yeah. Nicole Kidman's like, I'm a man, baby. All right, we could sit here and make fun of celebrities all day. Oh, there's Ben and Jen. Jen.
Jennifer Garner hasn't really done much recently. She did a
Nah.
movie called Butter that was really good.
I'm
Oh, I
gonna
wanted
watch
to see
Butter?
that one. I never saw it. Yeah.
It was actually really, really funny.
Was it?
It's about people who do like butter carving contests.
Yeah, I know.
You want me to watch a movie about a butter carving guy?
It looked
Absolutely.
It looks silly, but sometimes those premises have the best,
It was really funny. It had her. It had the dude from Hot Tub Time Machine, which, by the way, Hot Tub Time Machine 2 trailer
I can't wait for Christelle and I to watch the movie about butter carving.
No joke. Megan watched it with me, and she thought it was good. I watched it, and I was like, I want you to watch this movie and tell me what you think. And she watched it with me, and she liked it. It's just
There's
called
Johnny.
Butter.
And oh man, I can't bring up her name, but this chick's always like skipping off on Johnny to go like do lesbian stuff, so that's pretty hot. Amber Heard,
That's cool.
yeah, she's fucking hot. If I was
Johnny Depp hot.
If I was Johnny Depp, I'd be like, I need something like.
You know what's really cool about that picture is if you look at her, you can tell she's lusting after Sam. You can see it in the corner of the eyes.
Yeah, she's not looking at Johnny Depp. She's looking over here at Sam.
But she, when they're together,
Johnny
she
Depp, though.
she
It was
hollers
Johnny
Sam at that special moment. Johnny gets really mad.
They had a conversation. They're like, Johnny Depp's like, here's what's going to happen, because Johnny Depp, not playing a character, mumbles a lot, and he's like, well, here's what we're going to do. You're gonna.
I think Johnny would go with it. He'd be like, "Call me Sam. Call me Sam."
He'd be like, let me watch you while you fuck Sam, because I'm.
Sounds like a Black Mirror
You should be like,
episode.
okay.
Sounds like a Black Mirror episode to bring us back around full circle on entertainment. Sam, you definitely need to check out that show. It's called Black Mirror.
Black Mirror. I'll be watching Black Mirror before I watch the butter carving contest. I promise.
Butter was pretty good. It was a funny. It's like a movie where it's like, yes, it's about butter carving, but it's just like the butter carving competitions is like a catalyst for to build upon. So it's more about like characters and stuff.
Okay.
Like I was to tell you like Clerks is a movie about clerks at a convenience store, you'd be like, that sounds stupid, but it's not. The convenience store is a catalyst to build from.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Just like
just in case anybody missed what I just said. Yeah.
I like that movie Bad Words with Jason Bateman. He was in he's a 40-year-old in the like high school spelling bee. It's not about a spelling bee though. It's about his character.
Yeah, and
Well, I don't want to see it if it's
anybody,
not about butter carving.
just in case anybody missed what I said, Hot Tub Time Machine 2's trailer is out.
Oh, the trailer is out?
The first
Oh, I
one.
wanna see that.
It looks like it's going to be pretty dumb, but the first one was so good that I will see it, even though I think it's not going to be that good.
No, I
And
mean,
John Cusack isn't in it.
I mean, there's dumb comedy. Yeah, John Cusack's not back.
Yeah, it doesn't look
This
like it's going to
time-
be good.
This time I heard they're going into the future though, so that should be interesting. And
It looks like they go all over the place.
Well, what's the black guy's name? He's super funny.
Yeah, he's funny. He was on The Office and a few other
He's
things.
just been in a million things. Yeah.
That guy's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I like
TV and
him. But
movies. Yeah, he's funny.
this movie does not look like it's going to be that good. It looks like they're making a sequel for the sake of making a sequel, which I will still see it. I will Redbox it. I will do that for you. But I don't anticipate it being very good. Where Hot Tub Time Machine was amazing.
One of my videos got in trouble for playing a trailer. It wasn't the Star Wars though. It was
Really? You would think that a trailer they'd want you to play that as
Yeah,
much
I
as you
know.
can.
That's kind
I
of
know,
dumb.
but
It's free promotion.
No, it
They
was,
want people to see that.
I think it was the Terminator and it got banned in a couple of countries.
Germany?
On my the YouTube video, yeah. They don't want them
Always
to see
Germany.
it. Yeah, they don't wanna
Germany
see it.
seems to like not have any free, like the internet. Like if I had to pick a country with the least free internet, it would be like North Korea, and then Germany, because Germany is constantly banning videos. I've had probably 10 videos get banned in Germany, whether it be because of the song.
Because Kyle, do you know how hard it is to burn a video? The old ways just don't work anymore.
Yeah, they need to come up with new systems. You
We
can't.
burn the books. No one reads books. Shit.
Yeah. Go ahead, burn them. I got the ebook. I got
Scheisse.
the audiobook of it. Gonna burn my tablet, bitch? Burn SD cards? Bad for the environment. All right, we should probably end this. We've gone pretty long, almost 2 hours this show.
Yeah, I'm going to bed before I go see the Nutcracker.
No, fun. All right, I don't know what D-Lake's doing. I think he just left. Maybe he's showing us a trailer.
Hot Tub Time Machine
Oh, okay,
trailer.
let's do this real quick.
I'm like, screw it, I'm going to play it. Even the R-rated Red Band trailer. So if you have young children, get them out of the room.
You're muted.
Here we go. Sorry about that. Minus John Cusack.
Still can't hear it. What are you doing over there?
Oh, what?
Yeah,
I was
still
playing on
can't
my
hear
headphones. Sorry about that.
it.
Four friends.
Almost.
4 friends minus John Cusack. The fuck?
He's best. Scott.
It's the fucking 80s, guys.
I like that actor.
What he did in the past would change our world.
He's in Butter.
Morally wrong for me to exploit my number.
Okay. Sorry, Kyle. My sound's really messing up today.
Is we gonna bail on trying to play it? Go watch Hot Tub Time Machine 2 trailer, people.
He wasn't fully prepared.
Oh shit, now I'm not fully prepared.
I wasn't fully prepared.
All right. Sam, why don't you give us a quick wrap up? Tell everybody where they can find you, me, and D-Lake, and then let's peace out of here. This is the longest show we've done in a while.
Will do. You can look up D Lake for Prez, and when you do, you will find tons of information. He's always got, not only do you have the very best, most cutting-edge news, but he normally has pussy. That's right, there are cats in many of D Lake's videos. Also, make sure you look up the work of Kyle. You can find him over at themediaspeaks.com. Also, Kyle Phillips on Facebook. And you can find me at youtube.com/thecorrectviews. Also, look up, and unfortunately Google stuck it on the other page because they make you take 2 pages and route your videos where you don't want them. Look up the video where I am asking you to vote on what you think the absolute dumbest of the 12 dunce caps that were mailed out is, because I will be picking a winner, and that winner will have his charity promoted for a month on the show free and be getting a free autographed Passing Time CD. So go vote.
Excellent, Sam. Yeah, check out Kyle. The media is here on YouTube. Check out David Lake on YouTube. Check out The Correct Views on YouTube. Check us out on Facebook, like Sam said. Look us up individually or look up The Media Speaks. Go to themediaspeaks.com website where we should definitely post more. But we still have the channel ban, guys. It's almost 5 months, and then another month.
I can't even post there anymore now. They were letting me do it for a while, then that stopped about a month ago.
Yeah, it's crap.
That's because your computer, you need to put more fire underneath the steam reservoir.
I got the bomb computer now. I'm really happy with the computer that I have right now.
Yeah,
And
no, you sounded great today, Sam.
Yeah, you actually did look fine. Your sound was good and everything. And just fuck it, why not? Check out my personal channel, Nosehair515, if you want to see me when I'm not being political. You're like, that guy Kyle, he's too immature. Oh. You think I'm immature here, buddy?
I wouldn't say it's not political. I mean, it has, well, it's not really political, but it's really funny. Check out that nose hair, 515. Oh, shout out to our fans, the political terrorist, formerly Save America's Liberty, Don. Big shout out to Caregiver, 77 something or some kind of numbers following Caregiver. Big fan of the show. He or she is. I don't know. It's a pit bull. I can't tell the gender, but awesome that they watch. Hopefully they're watching now. All our fans, people that participate, come on the show. I throw out invites. Hey, you sound like a cool person. Come be on our show. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
They were like, a caregiver was like, I don't go down as many rabbit holes as you guys do, but or I haven't been that far down that rabbit's hole, but thanks for the invite. I'm like, yeah, sure, come on, just come on the show. Click that Q&A link. You can do it down here anytime during the shows. We haven't really had a lot of Q&A lately. Don said to open up the chat during the show, and I don't really know how to do that.
I'll play with it. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, hopefully when we get back onto the Media Speaks channel, Kyle will get this all figured out. Thanks everyone for watching it on my channel. I'm over 100,000 views, so that's pretty awesome for me.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty good, right? Everyone have a great day.
Do it.
Don't you think, Kyle?
Do it. Have a fun, great day. Just go out there, give somebody $1. Just walk up to somebody on the street today. You're in the convenience store. You're buying your cigarettes and your Lagunitas beer. And just the guy behind you, look him in the eyes, say, hey, here's $1, and just give it to him, and just walk out.
Why not?
Why not? It's a fucking $1, seriously.
Don't forget to say I love you when you give him
And
the
say I
money.
love you, yeah, and then take another $1 and flush it down the toilet.
No, take $100 and flush it down the toilet, right, Sam?
Flush $100 down your toilet.
Yeah, I did. My girlfriend got mad at me and decided that she was going to yell at me and hand me the $100 that she was going to spend on me for Christmas, and I got mad and flushed it down the toilet.
You see, when Sam said that he deleted his entire Facebook page over just to make a point at somebody he didn't even know in real life, I was like, okay, well, that's making a statement about you care that little about Facebook. But now I'm seeing that Sam is just the guy who will just never fucking back down from making his point. And sometimes
it's the principle, Sam, right?
Sometimes sometimes it's good to be that dedicated. Other times you end up without a Christmas gift. I mean, it is.
It's the principle, man. It's the principalities. I could see Sam in an argument with his girlfriend. Look, babe, it's the principle. Flush $100 bill.
Well, the funny
See,
thing is, no matter how mad she was at me, if I gave her $100, it would have been spent by now. She definitely would not have flushed it down the toilet. So I mean, yeah.
See, what I would have did is I would have taken the money and been like, look. Well, I wouldn't have said look because we're in the middle of a fight, right? And I'd be like, listen, honey, I'm going to hold on to this money until you calm down, and then I'm going to give it back to you. That's what I would have said.
See, looking back, it's things like that you realize, man, that would have been better.
Learning outsides are always right. Hillary. Everyone check out my video where I make fun of the new Hillary Clinton country song, too. All right, everyone, seriously, this time we're ending it. Have a great day, right?
Yep.
All right, peace out.